to Puzzle Master. Today we are going to be showing you the solution for the Hanayama spiral puzzle, which means we're going to show you how you can take it apart and then how you can put the puzzle back together. It is a level 5 out of a possible 6-star difficulty rating according to Hanayama's own difficulty scale. And if you haven't got the puzzle already, then you can pick it up from our website puzzlemaster.ca. Now let's get on with the solution. Okay, so the first job we've got to do is to disassemble the spiral puzzle. Now before we do that, I just want to point something out which will help in the reassembling of the puzzle, or the order of each piece, and that'll make a little bit more sense in a second. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to start with the piece that's engraved Hanayama. We want that side of the puzzle facing up, and we want that Hanayama piece on top of the spiral, okay? And what we're going to do is we're just going to look at how far each piece drops down relative to the piece adjacent to it. So you'll notice here, we're starting with the Hanayama piece. You'll notice that the piece to its right drops down to just a little bit further than halfway, but about halfway. If we go around again, you'll notice that that piece drops down to halfway as well. We go around again, just slightly further than halfway this time. And last one, this piece drops down to about halfway as well. And we're back down to the Hanayama piece now. Now if you drop the Hanayama piece down so it's not on the top, you'll notice that these two pieces don't quite get to halfway. These drop down about a third of the way. Now that is important both in the disassembly of the puzzle and how it works in general. So now, for the actual solution, what we're going to do is we're going to start in that same position, Hanayama piece on top of the spiral, facing up. And then what we need to do is split the puzzle up into a section of 3, these 3 here, and a section of 2 with these 2 here. So I'll show you this from the side. What we need to do is keeping every single piece in its spiral. So these 2 pieces are going to stay separated. But what we're going to do is we're going to lift these 3 pieces up while still in its spiral position. And when we do that to about a similar height for this piece and this piece here, you'll notice that these 2 pieces have a lot more movement in them here. And what that allows us to do is we have enough movement to twist off from there and separate the puzzle from that. And that is essentially how you disassemble the spiral puzzle. I'll show you it again from a properly side-on view. So here we've got a lot more movement, and we have enough movement to twist off from there. And then all we have to do is separate each individual piece, and that is how you disassemble the spiral puzzle. And to reassemble it, now the easy way is if you remember exactly which piece goes where in its right order, because the order does matter with this one, is you just put those pieces back together. You get your 3 in the spiral position here, you get your 2 in the spiral position here, and you simply reverse that movement. So we put it on in sort of this angle, and then it just twists on from there, and you've reassembled the spiral. However, it is more than likely, or it is possible, that you do not know, or you lost the order at which these pieces went together. And the order does matter. It has to be these 5 pieces in this specific order for it to reassemble. So let's say you don't know which piece goes where. So as an example, we'll mix these up and we'll go from scratch. Now we're going to start with the Hanayama piece. And what we're going to do is essentially a trial and error method that works every single time. And we're going to work our way around clockwise, working out which piece goes where. And this is where we have to remember the depths at which each piece drops down, which we looked at the start. So we're going to start with this piece and we're going to work our way clockwise around. So we're going to put these pieces together here. Now, if you remember, the piece if you go work clockwise way around, the piece to the right hand side of the Hanayama is the piece that drops a third of the way down here. Now here you'll see that it barely gets on fully, so we know for definite that this piece does not go here. So we're going to move that out of the way and we're going to try the other 3 pieces until we find the right one. Now this one looks to be the right piece, however we're just going to check or double check by making sure that these other two pieces don't drop to a similar distance. So this one goes to halfway, so we know that that is definitely not the right piece either. And this last one here barely gets on, or doesn't actually get on, so we know that that piece is definitely not the right piece either. And this piece is definitely going to go here. Now we want these pieces in a section of 3 and a section of 2, and these two pieces come separately. So the Hanayama bit is the section of 2, and this is the bottom of the section of 3. So we're going to leave them separate for now, and now we're going to work round clockwise from this piece. So again, we're going to go through that same process. We're going to start with just one random piece, and from now on, every single piece should drop to about halfway down. And you'll see here that this one drops a little bit further than that. So we know that that piece is definitely not the right piece to go next to here. Next one we'll try doesn't, or just gets on. So again, we know that that's not the right piece, which means that this piece must drop to about halfway, which it does. And these two pieces are going to stay together, so all we're going to do is twist it round and then try one of these last two pieces to see which one makes up the last of the 3. It looks to be, it's likely to be this one, so again, but we'll just check that this piece doesn't fit, and you'll see that this one drops almost all the way through, so it's definitely not that bit. And now we've built our section of 3, and by default we know the order of our section of 2 as well, but we can just double check that by checking that these drop to about halfway as well, which they do. So now we've got the order, we've got the section of 3 here, we've got the section of 2 here. All we need to do now is reverse that twisting motion, and we've reassembled the puzzle. So again, spiral puzzle, or these two in the spiral position, these 3 in the spiral position, and all we do is come onto the puzzle here, twist around, and it drops in from there. And that is how you disassemble and then reassemble the spiral puzzle. So there it is. That is how you disassemble the spiral puzzle, and that is how you put it back together, even when you have lost which piece goes where in the spiral. Now for a level 5 Hanayama puzzle, the move that solves it isn't too difficult in comparison to the other level 5 puzzles that Hanayama produce. Usually there's some sort of routine, there is some sort of process that needs to be gone through to actually solve a level 5 puzzle, but this one's actually quite simple. Just get it in the right position, one twist, and every piece is separated from there. Now hopefully that has helped you solve the spiral puzzle for yourself. If you want to pick up more puzzles like the spiral, then you can check out our website puzzlemaster.ca, where we have the biggest variety of puzzles on the internet in the world. But until next time, I will see you later.